What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, let's go to Saratoga, Saturday, July 27th. Race 10 on the card. It is the Grade 2 Jim Dandy Stakes, going a mile and an eighth for $500,000. All right, field of six. Here we go. Who can match up now with Dornoch? Dornoch, the leader in this division now after his win in the Haskell, and now it's who can win the Jim Dandy, who's going to be kind of that presence in the Travers as we kind of move towards that race with who, Dornoch, mind frame, probably going to go to that one, and then who's going to come to it to the Jim Dandy, and will there be Torpedo Anna? There's a lot to look forward to, obviously, as Saratoga rolls on. All right, let's get to it now. Field of six, we'll go through them one by one, and we'll start with the number one horse, Sierra Leone. And look, I think, this horse is the even money favorite, probably deserves to be pretty classy horse here, shows up with the same race every time. I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest with you, though. And I look at this horse and it's like, who is he really? Is he kind of just a closer that's just going to make a big run, one-dimensional horse, lugs in the stretch? And is it a situation where if they're going slow enough up front, he'll get by? And then if they're not, he's just going to settle for the minor awards. Is he a high-priced Red Route 1? Is he a little bit better version of Red Route 1? I mean, that's kind of what you start to think about when you look at this horse. He does have two very nice wins this season, without any doubt. The win down at Fairgrounds in the Risen Star was fine, and obviously the Bluegrass was good as well. He's a nose away from the Kentucky Derby. So that's something Red Route 1 was not, right? So you automatically upgrade him from there. But, in the Belmont, I think it's kind of stuck out like a sore thumb that day that his running style is always going to put him in a little bit of trouble. So we'll see if he can get it done here. It's a small field. Maybe the pace gets slow when he stays, a little bit closer to the leaders, because it's just naturally how it's going to fall. However, the next few horses we're going to talk about, I think, will make that maybe not possible. So let's keep going. Number 2 on the list, Seize the Gray. And of course, look, this is a horse that in the Preakness was incredible. Ran a race about as good as anything we've seen from this crop. He was loose on the lead that day, but still he was able to kick on when the real running began. And you got to give him a ton of credit for that. Before that, he was a nice winner of the Pat Day Mile. Pat Day Mile really didn't produce much, wasn't meant to be much on paper. And so, but still, he won the race. So you got to give him credit for that. Also won an allowance this year as well at Oaklawn. Kind of had some, the Jeff Ruby Stakes. I thought it was a good race for him. Got third, and then just a non-effort in the Bluegrass, and then a non-effort in the Belmont Stakes. And look, I know in the Belmont Stakes he did set a fairly fast early pace. However, the horse that was sitting right off of him won the race. Speed was playing great all day at Saratoga. There's really no excuse for him to run 7th in that spot. Maybe if he runs 3rd, that was pretty solid. But to run 7th, I don't think he showed up with much. However, now we're off of a long kind of break for him. He was running every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, basically. A little bit of a refresher. He's working out well. I think he'll rebound and run a better race. Is that good enough? That's the question. And that's the question you're going to have to ask yourself. I don't think he's going to run as poorly as he did in the Belmont. No, I don't. But is his absolute best race, is it good enough in this spot? Can he get back to that Preakness effort? Because if he can win here. That's really the only race, and I know he's won, 4 races, but the Preakness is really the only race that puts him at this level. The rest of his races, even the wins, I don't think he's quite good enough, but we'll see what he can do here. I think the freshening going to do him well. I think he'll run an improved race today over what he did at the Belmont. Number 3, Batten Down, is who we'll go to next. This horse finally broke the maiden 4 in his 4th start at Churchill Downs and did it really impressively. And then parlayed that into success in the Ohio Derby, a Grade 3 win in gate-to-wire fashion. Both those races went in gate-to-wire fashion. I think he's got the chance to do it again, but Seize the Gray's in the race. Pony Express is in the race. Fierceness is in the race. Things could get hot up front. You never really know what Fierceness is going to do. But these 2, 3, and 4 horses, I think they're going to want to be towards the front, which will make things interesting. I don't think this horse absolutely has to have the lead, though, to win the race. The only thing I'm really concerned with him, the way he finished the Ohio Derby, he kind of, to me, seemed to be begging for somebody to come get him, and nobody really would. And so, if he kind of runs that type of race again, I think somebody's going to come get him in this spot. So that's my only worry, but he's getting better. And look, we'll see what happens here. You can tell that he's a brother to Tacitus, because he kind of does some weird things, kind of like Tacitus did, but he's getting better. He's got a shot, no doubt. Number 4 is Pony Express. I think he's the most interesting entry into the race here. Two maidens where he didn't do a whole lot of running and then did a whole lot of running in the third race. His maiden special weight win at Santa Anita was very solid. So much so, a 9-length victory, and now we're right here into the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. Instead of maybe going on allowance or maybe waiting for the shared belief at his home track there, or his home base of Southern California at Del Mar, John Sadler sends him here to this one, the Jim Dandy. Timing-wise, I think it makes sense. Maybe it's just kind of a gauge to see where we're at, but I don't think he's here unless he thinks that this horse is pretty decent. So Pony Express, the 4-horse, kind of the interesting kind of outsider in the race. Be interesting to see what he does. Number 5 is Gould's Gold. This horse was second in the Ohio Derby. I already mentioned I didn't love the way Batten Down finished that race. I mean, obviously he won the Ohio Derby in his first stakes try. That's good. Not gonna dog that too much. But I feel like if Gould's Gold could have done a little bit better running in the stretch, he would have beaten Batten Down, and he just couldn't do it. Only one win. His stakes races, like I said, Ohio Derby wasn't great. The Sir Barton, he did get second, and he fought in that race. The horse that got second there came back to run an okay second in the Curlin. I think this is an okay horse, and I don't think he's going to be good enough to win the Jim Dandy, but I don't think he's terrible either. And if something weird happens, maybe he can jump up and at least hit the board in the spot. And then finally, the every other horse is back. Number 6, Fierceness, scratched out of the Haskell last week. I wonder now if they kind of wish he would have stayed in the way Mindframe, just doesn't finish races. And we do know Fierceness does finish races when he decides he wants to fire. So I wonder if they regret that. But nevertheless, here he is in this spot. He is the every other horse. He either runs great or he runs horrible. There's no in between. Won the maiden easy, lost in a big way the Champagne, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile easy, lost the Holy Bull in just awful performance, won the Florida Derby easy, lost the Kentucky Derby in another horrible performance. Well, he's due for the big one. That's the good news. I think there's a lot of speed in here. I do think he has the potential to be the fastest of the speed horses. Will he do it? Will he fire? Who is this horse? It's all just so questionable with him. Hard to really rely on him, but also it's hard to deny that if he runs his best race here, he's going to win. I just don't know if you can really rely on him to do it. I think he has become a classic. Hey, if you're playing multi-races, go ahead or multi-race wagers, as you say, go ahead and put him in. But I don't think you need to make it where it relies just on him. And so that's the way I'm going to approach him in this race. Would not be shocked if he won. Would not be shocked if he ran 6th. All right. It's none of these horses I don't think you can really rely on. I just read off Fierceness. We know Sierra Leone's flaws, right? Of just kind of being that one-dimensional horse. Sees the gray. He's kind of erratic, right? He might show up. He might not. Batten Down, we kind of talked about. He's developing. I'm just not quite sure who he is. A Pony Express, he's just a one-race winner. And then Gould's Gold, same thing. I debated it for a long time, and this is not an easy race, I don't think, to pick on top. I do think for multi-race purposes, if you use Sierra Leone, Batten Down, and Fierceness, you're probably going to get through it. I'm not 100% scared of Seize the Gray because I do think there's going to be a lot of pace in the race. We kind of saw what he did the last time. I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm going to pick Sierra Leone to win the Jim Dandy. I just feel like it's a situation where I think he can catch Seize the Gray, Batten Down, Pony Express, and Gould's Gold. I'm not really worried about those as long as the pace is decent. I think Sierra Leone will go get all those horses. And then I think it's just a matter of, is Fierceness going to fire? And I think you never really know. And if Fierceness does fire, I'm not overly concerned about it because I'm going to have him on tickets. But I do think Sierra Leone is kind of the most reliable of the bunch. I think you do know he's going to show up with his race. And the other factor is, if Fierceness does fire a big one, who's to say Sees the Gray, Batten Down, Pony Express, one of them tries to kind of challenge him a little bit and maybe takes a little bit out of him. And if that's the case, I hate the pick really, but I'm going to hate anybody I pick in this race. And I just think, again, you kind of look back to it. Sierra Leone is the horse that we kind of know what we're going to get out of him. And the pace does kind of, even though it's only 6-horse field, the pace does kind of look like it's going to be quick. And so I think he's got the best chance to win the race. So give me number 1, Sierra Leone. Not thrilled about it. Depending on his odds, may not bet a win, may put him on top of a Fierceness or Batten Down, or Sees the Gray, somebody like that, to try to get a price home. But I do, when I handicap races, I pick the winner based on who I think is the most likely horse to win. And I do think that is Sierra Leone in that spot. So we'll see. We're going to see what happens. I think it's going to be an interesting race. I think a few of these are going to go on to the Travers. I think we're looking at an epic Travers. If Dornock is there, throw in Mindframe Shore, throw in 2 or 3 from here, and then Torpedo Anna. I mean, if that's what it builds up to be, it's the best race of the year. But we got to go to the Jim Dandy, and then we got a month to see what happens with all these horses. So Sierra Leone on top for me in the Jim Dandy. All right, that'll do it for our preview. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like that. For more coverage of Saratoga, Del Mar, all the tracks, make sure to go to racingdudes.com. The website's got 99.9% of the coverage. So make sure to go there every single day for free win picks and then premium products as well. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Saratoga on Saturday.